All right. I think we are back. Not yet. Okay. How are things looking, chat? Are we solid in the zone? Are we smooth as butter? Is this live? This is indeed the live stream. Wonderful.
What is this?
Excellent.
It's Microsoft Excel,
as you might say. Well, that's the last time I try and do that particular thing in OBS. You remember that, you know, that one thing that you tried to do in OBS that one time, chat? Don't do it. Anyway, well, now that we have everyone here again, and the go live message has gone out again, we can say welcome to everyone again. So welcome to everyone. Hello, Maxwell. Hello, Jay Walter. Who else is lurking in our chat today? Dr. Padawan, hello. Welcome back to you. Phil and Aaron, I see in chat. Megan's probably also in the chat, but I haven't seen a message from Megan yet. Those are our 3 guests today that we will hear from in just a short moment. Who else have we got in chat? White Panther, I saw that you were also in chat very early. So Twitch is going to want us to run some ads again. I don't have much choice in the matter.
It's Microsoft Excel.
Unfortunately. Calling out all the lurkers. Where does the Excel clip come from? The Excel clip is actually an original Microsoft ad for Excel. Which is shocking, but true. So we will run some ads again, but we're gonna stay here. We're gonna stay with everyone, just to keep things fun. Because I think it's boring if we disappear completely. But you're not gonna miss anything if you see ads. It's okay. So I hope everyone has had a wonderful week. As someone said earlier, it's Friday Eve. Friday Eve. Personally, I am off work today and tomorrow, so I cannot really complain at all. Zero. Dr. Padawan, you have claimed first again. Congratulations. It's a sneaky little thing that some people know. If we go live again, first actually resets. Hello, Scottish Soul, and welcome to chat. Lovely to have you here. I saw that you joined the Discord the other day, so that's great. If anyone else is considering joining the Discord, so it's good, you know, smart move on your part. The Claw Discord is a sort of shared server where we fellow tech nerds and data people and design people and developers and all these people come together in one fine great place, really great place. So let's think about chat. Let's think about something. Are you in the 17% that clicked the go live notification? Because, you know, I did some really heavy machine learning modeling, and my machine learning models told me that you are 17% likely to click the go live notification from Twitch. Of course, I'm joking. I didn't do any machine learning modeling with Twitch data. If only Twitch's data was good enough to even do machine learning modeling. I see that you are looking for enhancement, chat. This is not that kind of stream for enhancement. You're in the 1% coming straight from Finite Stream. Hello, Jens. Hello. Very good to see you, Jens, again. All the enhancement. Yeah. Luckily, this camera is only pointed at my face. Otherwise, we might have some issues with Twitch terms of service, wouldn't we? Why so close? Well, you know, Sassy, you could dehand the camera if you wanted to, but this is a great opportunity for me to show off my amazing merch that I have. Possibly the best t-shirt on the planet. Run SQL. Yes, you can dehance if you want to. Don't worry, everything will be disabled afterwards, so no funny business afterwards. I'm gonna not do that. Yeah, let's not do that. Cool. So chat, tell me about your week. Would you say it was successful?
Garbage.
Would you say it was successful? Or would you say it was tough? What would be like the word for you to describe how your week was? If you had to tell your mom what your week was. 10 D10s, D20s. Which him forget to turn his watch him forget to turn his cam off later. Yeah, that's totally a streamer thing to do. And we had obviously tons of technical issues at the beginning of the stream, because that's you always have technical issues in streams. Today I learned Maddie is an SQL kind of guy versus pronouncing it SQL. If it was pronounced SQL, then we would expect to also have a language called prequel. Haha, joke's on you. There is a language called prequel, and guess what? Next week I'm actually going to be learning prequel. So that's a little teaser for all of you on stream. Yes, there is a language called prequel. But that's not today's topic. Man, say just I am fine. Stressful, tiring. It sounds like you all need a break, chat. So I have a suggestion for you, chat. I have a suggestion for you. For the next 40 to 90 minutes, depending what is available to you in your schedule, sit back, get yourself some snacks, because that's really important. Never mind hydration. We're talking about sustenance. Thanks, Karen, but we didn't want to hear from you. Thank you so much, Karen. Get some snacks. Get yourself a drink or two, sustenance and hydration, like I have done, and most of us have at our desks. Sit back, put us up on your TV, maybe on a tablet, laptop, cozy up on your couch. Get comfortable. You should just chill and have a listen to these three amazing experts that I've managed to somehow convince. I don't know how, but I've managed to convince these three people to give up a lot of their time to come here today. You've had a liter of water and half a liter of protein shake. Is that enough? Yes, Jay Walter, I think you will get the gains. You will get the gains. Yes. Eating late at night, are you trying to ruin my sleep? Well, 4X, you should, of course, be mindful of what kind of snack, but it could also just be 2 chips. That's also a snack. Although, I don't know anyone who's humanly capable of just eating 2 chips. Sorry, crisps for you in the British kingdoms. I ate gummy worms with lunch, so winning. My day consisted of samosas, chocolate, various breads. Yeah, that was my day. 2 bags of chips? No, I didn't say bags. I said individual chips. I said individual chips. So look, chat, I've got guests waiting in the lobby. And I'm not talking about the downstairs lobby. I'm talking about the virtual lobby. We have a lobby with guests. So I think it would be appropriate for us to welcome our guests on stream. Don't you think? Because I mean, because honestly, they're just sitting there wondering how long it's going to be until they come live. Who is Chad? I don't know who Chad is. Hello, Mike Oxsmall. Chips and gummy worms is a great combo. Yeah, like salty sweet. That's pretty good. I have pre-prepared salads because ADHD motivation issues, but also autistic cravings. Oh, what a combination. What a combination. Maybe I'm picking my nose. Wouldn't want to have that on stream. That's true. We wouldn't want to have that on stream. Would we now, chat? So, yeah, I think it's time that we maybe welcome our guests on stream and introduce them. Or maybe they could even introduce themselves. Imagine that we had such a crazy thing that people can talk for themselves. Because they probably know best how to say who they are and what they do. So I think that's what we're going to do, chat, is we're going to go BRB for 2 seconds. And when I magically reappear, I'm going to be more than one person on the screen in front of you. Isn't that crazy? So don't go too far, chat, and we'll be right back. You get to watch clips and bunny rabbits for 2 minutes while we're gone. So I'll see you in a minute, chat. Always stay great, Maddie. Grew up overshadowed by strong bars. Couldn't catch the eye of no city girl. Here I am, devoted to Maddie. How I love the way you look in your pink jeans. Can't believe I let the small cloud my eye. Where the strong bars stand and the dirty windows surround. I'll ride my fastest truck with you by my side. There's a whisper in the asylum breeze, reminding me of right joins. That whisper builds, that whisper cries, right joins in the morning skies. You appear on the horizon, brushing that thin hair from your eyes. The city folk with their fancy gadgets, cement bars like gray tombs. Don't have nothing on our way of life, just listen to the cows. What is this? Oh my gosh, this is so long. So, look at that. Oh, that's the wrong scene. I don't do enough justice. Let's move over a little bit. There we go. I've moved over even more. Look at that. We managed to get guests on stream, but I'm also huge, so I need to de-hance myself. Chat, why did you do this to me? That doesn't seem fair. That I'm taking up like 20% of the screen, but my face is like 80% of the screen space. Everyone, please say hello to Aaron, Megan, and Phil. Would be good if all of you could say something so that we could check audio levels as well. Oh, of course. Of course. Of course, the timing of finite singularity. We have a raid from our good stream team friend, Finite Singularity. And now we're actually going to have a clip of Finite play, unless I disabled it. I may have, no, I don't know if I disabled it or not. Maybe not. Finite, thank you so much for coming in. Can't you see that we're busy? Like, this is when you choose to raid. You disabled, no, not just your clips, everyone's clips. This is like lockdown mode, so that no one can mess with the stream, you know?
Garbage.
I'm gonna de-hance myself. Like, a little bit of messing is one thing, but I know chat, and I know that at some point during the stream, it's gonna be like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if Maddie's lights went out? And that's probably what's gonna happen. Exceljo, congratulations, you were already famous before, but now your name's also in the title of the stream, so you're extra famous now. Oh my gosh, a double raid! What is... Come on. We haven't even started the panel, chat, and someone actually did turn my lights out. Can't hear the guests. Really? Oh, there we go. I had you on mute.
I was like, I'm just gonna keep randomly talking into the mic. Like,
Yeah.
I do myself every day. It's fine.
Yeah.
Home life is great. Actually, no, it's really
great. I hope you can all hear the guests now.
Let's hope so.
Phil, Aaron, and Megan have joined me today for this crazy stream. Thank you everyone for the raids and for the follows. I appreciate it very much. Guest volume is a bit low, but we can hear them. I can bump the volume. That's no problem. All three of you should say some like the same line with the same volume. You should say like the same thing. What can we say together? Say, Maddie's stream is incredibly exhausting.
Maddie's stream is incredibly exhausting. Exhausting. I'm tired already. Disappointed that I don't get cultured.
Tell me about levels, chat. Is it too low for you, chat? I can hear them, but it's, it's something you should be able to hear them better. I turned the volume down on Maddie and turn up the volume on the guests. I can't turn myself down. I'm too much to handle, unfortunately. But I'm going to boost the guests as much as I can. I am going to boost.
Up the jam.
Pump up the jam. I can hear them. The guests are low. They're not low. They're on the same height as me in the stream. What are you talking about? Oh, you mean volume. Right, of course. Well, we can ask the guests to like scream as well. That's also a thing. Instead of calling it guest star, just call it scream star. I think this should be a little bit better, chat. There's only one way to find out. Aaron was quietest, so Aaron, you should...
Oh. Let's see if it's my external mic problems too. Hello, hello?
You might be a little bit far away from the microphone, actually.
Hello, hello? Hello?
Is that better, chat? Chat has to say. I can never say. It's very hard to get audio levels correct for 4 people in a stream, though. We'll have to give ourselves credit for that one. If you do have a question, chat, you can always use !Q in front of your question. And if it's a good question, no live questions, please. We've had too many live questions in the last few streams. Like, is SQLite the past, present, or the future? And I'm like, please don't ask questions like this. If you do have questions, then please do feel free to type them in chat and I will bring them up on screen. But we do also have some things that we'd like to talk about. And so today, if none of you have realized by now, we have a panel discussion. And the idea behind the panel discussion is that we are going to ask ourselves, what is the impact of AI for analysts really? And we're going to kick things off with a very simple question about what is AI? Can any of you tell me what you think AI is? I'll leave it open to the floor. Any of you can say.
I'm like, I'm happy to, but I don't want to like jump in on it.
Go for it.
Garbage. Everybody's like, wow, Aaron, we'll just look at you. So AI is artificial intelligence, which is like part of a broader spectrum. There's a really good chart that's out there that's like, this is artificial intelligence. And then under artificial intelligence, you have machine learning, which is like a subsection of artificial intelligence. And then subsection under that, you have deep learning, which is another subsection of that. I'm actually going to find the chart because I think that was the one thing that really unblocked my brain on all of that. But yeah, it is just a way of, it's basically fancy math, but the machine learning subreddit might yell at me now that I said that, because that's like the running joke is, it's not just math.
Fancy math. That's not the only thing I took away from that explanation, but obviously machine learning is a lot of math. Phil, you look like you have a good burning. Go for it.
Never. Let's shift the question. Do we already have artificial intelligence somewhere lurking in the dark of whatever technology company we've got out there? I've got a clear statement on that one, but
go ahead. Answer your own question.
Nope.
I would agree. So no, you don't want to answer your question, or no is the answer to the question?
Both. Let's activate split personality mode. All jokes aside, so there currently is no given artificial bound system out there that actually proclaims intelligence. If you're coming from philosophy or rather cognitive sciences, then none of the systems out there currently display what you describe as functional intelligence. What you have is love those glasses. You won't get me out of context. What you do have is something that you can give is contextual intelligence. And this is something why all of us are now so hyped with everything around OpenAI, or rather GPT, 3.5, full, Llama, and all the other systems we've got out there. They're contextual. But in broader terms, intelligence is something that can cross-identify connections between different fields and different topics. So from that sense, nope, no artificial intelligence out there, but we do have systems in a support sense, which are then artificially or, some sort of fancy math.
Fancy math. Megan, what's your take? Either on the original question or on Phil's revised question?
What is AI? That was the original question, right?
Mm-hmm.
I liked Aaron's explanation. I think that it's not just math. You have to add in statistics and like also the business context and a lot of other layers. And so I don't think that AI is like one cookie cutter thing for one specific purpose. Depending on the industry, it could require other disciplines to be brought in, and also it could be it could vary on like whether it's more math heavy or statistics heavy or so I think it's a lot of different things. I don't know. That was a very amorphous answer. Do with that what you will.
I really liked your answer, Megan, because I think, and this is like my new soapbox to get on, every like month or so I decide a new soapbox. So strong opinions held loosely. Please influence me if you have better opinions. Mine are not the best sometimes. And by better opinions, I mean like we think a lot of like everybody's like, ChatGPT is the coolest thing ever. And I'm like, it's really only good with context. And you know who's really good at context? Your liberal arts majors. So take that, Mom. I'm actually using my journalism degree.
That's a good soapbox.
I love that soapbox. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can do a little drawing on stream. I don't think that you three will see it unless you look at the stream. But I actually think that when people think about AI, they are kind of bundling two separate things into one term of what is AI. And actually, the definition of AI for me is actually split into two things. One, which we actually see today with basically these LLMs and machine learning models and everything, which is fancy math. That is systems that are so good at processing vast amounts of data that we can't even compare to that kind of system. We will never be that good. But there's another thing here in this box, and this is the magical one. And this is AGI, or artificial general intelligence, or even just GI. And this we very much have, and this we do not. Because we consider general intelligence the ability to learn independently of information that we were given beforehand, to go out on our own and seek other information. And one of the interesting discussions I was having with someone about this was actually a philosophical one, which was, well, if we just give the best possible AIs today access to everything, literally all information that mankind ever produced, wouldn't it be able to do that? And one of the answers to that is, well, no, it would just simulate intelligence. It would just have a lot of knowledge, but it wouldn't actually have real intelligence. So the question there is, do you think we will ever be at a point where we can talk about general intelligence, and how would we even identify something as being general intelligence?
I'm a skeptic here. I'm like, I don't think that we can, like, for general intelligence, like there's the running joke. So outside of, I work as an open source dev advocate in the ML space, looking for my next adventure, still right there. But I do host a generative AI comedy show on the side of my day job, which we make some program weird robots. I love using my skills for weirdness. But like a lot of the questions that we get from viewers are how much do you actually do? And like how much do you have to actually coach to get a result that you want, or are you fine-tuning the models, and it's not like I can just press a button and it's go. There is work that goes in behind the scenes. So, and again, it's just fancy math at the end of the day. Like my textbooks and haven't taken a life of their own, and I can spill a beer on the server and sorry, you're gone. Or unplug your computer.
So Jens has raised the point about, yes, of course it's good to be nerdy here. This is the place to be nerdy. In case any of you were questioning whether this is the place to be nerdy, this is the place on Twitch to do it. Wouldn't it be fair to say that AI is a label for maximum likelihood estimation techniques? And this is basically really fancy math, right? A lot of it is probability based. I would say not everything is probability based. There are certain things that are not probability based, but a lot of it is probability based. Which is why today's notification, go live notification, was also probability based, in case you didn't catch that joke. But Phil, I think you wanted to say something about that as well.
Again, me.
Or am I wrong? I don't know. Maybe it was Megan. I'm not sure.
You're up, Phil.
The joke behind all of that we're currently seeing in the development of AI is just based on that thing up here, which is 60% fat and 40% water and proteins. Yeah, and it's not really that sexy. We only make it sexy because we can talk about it. But the great joke about intelligence is what generates and what gives us personality, for example, is your gut and the bacteria in your gut. It's your muscle memory. It's your spine. It's a lot more than only theoretically what this hard drive, or let's call it soft drive up there, actually saves. But what we're currently emulating through fancy math, let's break it down. It is freaking math, and I know a lot of us hated that in school or university or wherever. But we're only emulating a part of what actually gives us gut feeling. Yeah. Now we could discuss about, is having a gut feeling about something, is that part of intelligence? I would say yes. So again, is a system like current large language models, do they have intelligence? Yes. Are they AGI? No. But they're freaking good at giving you responses to questions that you ask them. Yes, they hallucinate. But honestly, who of us on drugs doesn't hallucinate?
I would argue even
Also,
people on drugs don't hallucinate.
You also have to, you're making an assumption here. You're assuming that everything that we all come up with is intelligent. Because I know that like there are some dumb things that I've done that's not very intelligent.
Mm.
But again, you've done or you do those things based on a decision.
Yeah.
Again, we call them dumb retrospectively. That's the point. And that means you are able to reflect. And being able to reflect means that you've got the knowledge about yourself, your surrounding, and what happened. And that, again, is a sense of intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Ask an AI if an AI is, and it'll give you a statistical correct answer based on the input that you threw at it when teaching. But that's freaking it.
So I think this would be a great point, and this is not traditional in any way for most of the things that you may watch or panels you may watch. So for any of you who are watching, we're going to do like a mini recap and intro right now, because we had like 2 raids and there's new viewers coming in, and I'm wearing weird glasses and you're probably asking yourself why that is. Someone redeemed vision trouble, which means I have trouble with my vision, as you can see. But don't worry about that. I would like Aaron and Phil and Megan to briefly introduce themselves. We've talked really high level about like what AI potentially is, what it is not. Do we have general intelligence? And they're going to give like a quick intro of them so that you can also frame the discussion a bit better. And then we're going to actually get really practical. We have questions that are really not theoretical, and they're related to everything that we do day to day as analysts or as data people. So I would like to ask Megan to start and maybe just give like a short blurb about yourself.
Hey everyone, this is actually my very first Twitch stream, so
Woo!
if you guys are doing things fancy and I'm not participating, that is why. Not because I don't want to, but I am / was a data scientist at my last company, Narrator. I think Aaron, you said you're on to your next adventure. I am too. So that was my last lifetime, but yeah, I prior to that was an analytics consultant, and so kind of a nerd in a lot of different data areas. And so when Maddie invited me, I was very excited to nerd out on these data things.
Exactly. And Megan, you didn't say this, but Megan has an enormous LinkedIn community, an absolutely massive following.
What do you define as enormous? There are plenty of people with way more.
Yeah, but this is a very big community that you've managed to amass there, and you've managed to do it by staying very down to earth and real. And I think that's what really makes you stand out from a lot of other creators who are just regurgitating the same content over and over and over. I know we all know who we're talking about. So anyway, Phil.
Thank you.
Phil, who are you? Is that an Assassin's Creed hat also? Okay.
Yep.
So you're a gamer for a start.
For a start, yeah, I'm a gamer, but I'm actually old school studied marketing nerd turned data lover, thanks to not only performance marketing but everything else. And yeah, for me, it's more or less always about how can we actually use data to do better advertising, better marketing, better understand our customers. And one of the things there is, to some extent, making it more personalized sometimes or more generalized. And that's something where AI or some sort of automatic systems can actually or should actually support us. So yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, Control has mentioned that you have RGB shelves, so you must be a gamer. I think that's the rule. As soon as you have RGB, you're a gamer. Look at all this RGB in the back. This is like pure RGB. It's the most liquid RGB you can ever get.
Pat, what color?
Yeah, Aaron.
Oh, yeah. So I am a developer advocate. Most recently in the open source machine learning space, I got to play with some cool models and fine tuning and geek out on that. Unlike most people, I detoured a lot to get there. So my formal education is actually in journalism with an emphasis in fandoms and creator economy stuff. So let's geek out on that. I did get to do a really weird research project with Lyme disease conspiracy theories, which was very fascinating and very chaotic, but I'm also a comedian, and I can say professional comedian. I've been paid to do comedy, so yeah.
Wow. So the jokes that I don't deliver will be delivered today by Aaron, our resident comedian now. That's good because chat doesn't typically refer to me as being funny so much.
I mean, I just bully just bully them.
Oh, they bully me. So I see how this will work. Okay, that's cool.
We got it. We're good. We'll team up against them.
Okay, that's wonderful. So that's great. I think we talked very theoretically about what AI could be or potentially is today. And I think it's time to get a little bit more concrete. One of the concrete questions that we actually discussed beforehand, also talking about, is, of course, if you've been on this stream at any point in the last 2 years, you will have heard me at least mention SQL, probably at least 100 times. I mean, I'm wearing a SQL shirt, so that should tell you everything. Assuming that AI could generate SQL perfectly, which today is not the case yet, as we know, AI can produce pretty passable SQL. But assuming that we reach a point where AI generates SQL really well, how much will analysts still write SQL, and what are the implications of that situation? Megan, do you write a lot of SQL as a data scientist?
Yeah, sorry, I was going to jump in.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would argue that yes, I think so SQL, I probably was coding in SQL maybe like 10% of my days. A lot of my work was in translating business requirements into those SQL queries. And I think that translation process between the data world and business slash real world speak is potentially where AI can really augment that. But as of right now, I think that there's still so much work that has to be done to do that translation process, to massage that raw data into something that your business can use. And so even if, right now with AI's current capabilities, even if you can generate SQL automatically, it will not, I don't think currently it'll be nuanced enough to capture all the nuance that your business needs from that data. So long-winded answer is like no. I do code in SQL a lot when I am coding, but right now I don't think that AI can replace the need to have that human behind it.
Yeah, you spoke about the human component, and that is I think what is one of the key things for me is that generating code generatively, we've seen is, with like things like Copilot or GPT-4 has become very good, but it's always missing a bit of context, right? It's always missing a bit of context. And I think with SQL, the missing key for me personally is the understanding of the underlying data. Just because it knows a field is called something doesn't mean it knows what that field is or means, right? By the way, Megan, your video has disappeared. Just FYI. Oh.
Yeah.
But you
You're muted.
may be muted. No.
I'm back.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Right join, you don't exist. That's correct. There is no right join. Why SQL? We can use R and dbployer. There's so many debates about like SQL versus Python. We'll leave those at the door, but I think Megan's sign says everything. Select from where. I would love to have a neon sign about SQL.
It was not cheap, but had to have it in my office.
Aaron, do you have like a take on perfect SQL?
No takes on perfect SQL because in my world it doesn't exist because I don't write perfect SQL. So perfectly in the Python versus R debate. I mean, I'm a Python girly, but that's fine. Not to stir up some feels, but we're a Python girly in this house. But I think, Megan really summed it up really correctly. Like I forget what book I read it in, but there's a really good book that I've been like stealing the definition of like what machine learning is and like what it matters for is, but machine learning is just a way of building a function to solve a contextual based problem with data. So if we say that bit there, again, more liberal arts majors in data, more liberal arts majors in machine learning is super important. Chat GPT or any generative AI model really kind of sucks at the context part. They don't have nuance.
Yeah, nuance and context. There's so much talk about fine-tuning these models, right? Couldn't we just fine-tune the crap out of these models to give it the nuance? I mean, Phil, you look very skeptical about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, go take it away, Phil. I have lots of good.
I have to put on a silly hat.
The problem with that is we currently can only add to our AI models. We can't subtract. So we haven't learned how we can actually teach or enforce an AI model to forget, which means that all of those wrong tips, all of that bad code that you've got in GitHub, that you've got on Stack Overflow, that you've got somewhere lying around, from that, I think there's more in the world than there is of acceptable code, because we're just human beings and we love to make errors because that's how we learn and that's how we do better code. But we leave that code somewhere for somebody else to fix. And that stays in that data set from which current AI models are being, let's call it by name, built, trained, learned. But we can't sit down and say, hey, that's wrong, what you've got there in the fourth hidden layer of your subset of something, just throw it up. No, we have to retrain. So that means you have to run through that whole thing again until at some point somebody finds the math formula, fancy math back again, to just get that out of the way. So can we train something on our internal data set of a company about our understanding of business, about our understanding of other things? Yes, but we're still building on that initial model that will have those flaws.
That's very true.
Yeah,
It's hard to remove those flaws. I mean, Admiral Entropy is talking about catastrophic forgetting, because the model does forget about behaviors that we want it to have, ideally.
Yeah, wait, that's the interesting part. No, the model, that again here, sorry for jumping in. The joke here is that we're talking about forgetting in a sense of, yeah, it just forgot the last 600 tokens that we threw at it because our new command is 800 tokens. So yeah, a hell of a lot. No, it forgot in its short-term memory the aspects of the given context of what it did before with us. But the underlying foundation still stays the same. Yeah? So its interpretation of our commands, and again, we're not giving it commands, we're just throwing at it data, and we would love to think about that it's being commands. That's why everybody's saying, you need to learn about prompt engineering. Bull something. And
you can say that one. I told you it's okay. It's the F and C's that are not good.
The F and C's, okay, bullshit. Because again, no, it's forgetting your short-term memory. Yeah, you can't overtrain something on that thing. No.
I think there's also something that, you know.
Oh, I love that Boolean shit. May I copy?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, there's like a really interesting thing. Like, first off, I love anybody who wants to like kind of shit on prompt engineering a little bit. So I'm high-fiving across the Zoom with the high five, because I think so many people are like, I'm a machine learning expert now, and it's like, dude, you just wrote some pretty fancy prompts. Which again, that is not negating that. That is not saying that you can't do really cool things with prompt engineering. Heck, prompt engineering got me to save some money on my rent this year because I used ChatGPT to write a negotiation letter to my landlord. What I think is more important is if we're going to fine tune a model on our company data set. Great. Love that. I'm currently fine tuning a model on my comedy jokes to make dumb comedy robots because why not? However, but the context, A, could always be shifting. B, like, how much work do you really want to do that? Like, some people are like, oh yeah, it's fine tuning a model, it takes 10 minutes. And it's like, you know, the running joke in most things is it depends. Like, it could take 10 minutes, it could take an hour, it could take, you know, if you're doing it effectively, like, you're probably having versions and setup, and you should have just wrote the damn SQL query in the first place.
Yeah, it could also take 10 days. I mean, you know, if you don't have access to those really super amazing GPU clusters and you're doing it on a smaller cluster, it could take 10 days. Absolutely. Megan, have you experimented with like this sort of fine-tuning approach at all to like get better results?
My modeling experience is limited, but definitely using ChatGPT to like supplement my workflows It definitely takes some massaging of the prompt to get it exactly to where I need it to be. And so specifically where one example of where I would use ChatGPT in my last role was like, let's say I've done a pretty in-depth analysis and need to translate it to something for the customer to because they're not data folks. Kind of getting ChatGPT to give me an explanation for those non-data folks to be exactly right to intake to keep the context of their business in play. Like that definitely takes some refining in terms of what I ask of ChatGPT. It's never perfect the first time, but yeah.
Awesome. So we've talked about how we could have, maybe in some future scenario, we could have AI that writes really good code. It won't understand all of the context, right? So if we were to feed a data warehouse to one of these models and say, this is all of the data that I have in my business. We feed it like our website, we feed it some documents as well that we have internally describing what our business case is. Like it knows what we are as a company. We are like, I don't know, 4-person company limited, right? And our objective today is to like educate people on AI on Twitch, right? So it knows what we are, and we have like this huge database. What's the real hurdle in having AI truly understand what's in there? Does it just mean we need really good naming? Like we need really good semantics? We need like metadata management? Like what are some of the key things that you think are necessary there to get to the point where the AI is like, when you ask it, if you build some kind of, LLM internally, when you ask it a question, it gives you the correct data back?
I think also integrity of your data. A lot of people think that this is again soapbox number 2 of the day. Wow, for warning everybody. Making sure you're leaning on open source tools or building with transparency and ethics as much as possible. So one thing that was really fascinating was there was a really good talk at Pi Data Berlin. I'll have to go find the YouTube link, but one of the things that was interesting is how they train and talk about different trainers, or how do you prepare people to clean up the data set, because you could have this very beautiful data, but if it's been cleaned in a way that kind of wrecks the integrity or the intention of the data, that's another problem all in itself. And we sometimes don't want to talk about that because that becomes a bias, or there's a lot of models out there that aren't sharing where they've gotten the data to create the original model from, and that's a problem. We don't know what hidden artifacts are lying under there.
Mm-hmm.
So
to add to that, I would also say more surface level issue could be just like data quality. If you have like a whole bunch of data and you don't know everything that's in there, the result of the model that's applied to it could be wrong. So that's another just like kind of low hanging fruit that you
like
have
a
to consider
postcode
about.
conundrum. So like Switzerland is a really good example of that. So Switzerland has 4-digit postcodes. However, there is an annexed portion of German land that the Swiss at some point made part of Switzerland for whatever reason. And it actually has a 5-digit postcode. So a lot of like checks and balances here are done with like, oh, your postcode needs to be 4 digits, right? So if you live there, you're screwed. And so obviously if you throw this kind of same checking logic to an AI, and the AI is like, oh, all of your postcodes are 4 digits, it sees a 5-digit and goes, that's not Switzerland, right? And so you inherit the same problems. I think that's also what you were saying, Megan. So yeah. Does anyone know? So Gulabi talks about in chat using something like Toolformer. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. I've never heard of that before. Maybe Gulabi, you can explain in chat what that is.
I've heard of it. I haven't personally used it. and I'm quickly just reading a paper on it. Language models can teach themselves to use tools. Here's a paper. Maybe.
Okay, very interesting.
Yeah, one of the things that I think is really interesting about that is it's an LLM, which is API calls. I think again, it comes down to the soft science behind it, the context. I kind of lean away from this because I think, like, not saying it can't be done. I personally just haven't used this and played around with it that much. But one of the things again is just missing out on the context behind everything. So I gave a talk on reinforcement learning and have done a lot of work on reinforcement learning over the last 6 months. And one of the contexts is that the examples I always give when talking about fine tuning a model, which means taking a large language model and just tweaking it ever so slightly to fit a specific use case or needs. And is especially with like ranker based type model training. You can see, like, in the case of like a dog, what is a dog? And then the answers that would sometimes be given when you're doing rank choice, they'd give you 2 answers. One being like, a dog is a 4-legged animal with legs, and a dog is a furry creature, and it would give you like the scientific answer of what a dog is. Now, if you're just going for brevity, or maybe you want to make a generative AI tool that spits out children's level book examples, you would choose the first option. However, if you're going for depth of context, the second option would be the better option. And I think oftentimes we're thinking about like, what is the best thing to do this for? And I think, without TLDR, it depends.
Awesome. So Chad, if you remember anything from today's discussion at all, it is that it depends. That's the most important takeaway for you.
Cool math and it depends. The end.
Yeah.
Fancy math.
Fancy math.
It depends.
It depends. That's yeah. And we don't have artificial general intelligence yet, so
it's a total valid thing though. Like I gave a talk at Pi Data Berlin on this, and we walked through a demo, and like the first hand raised, not to like call people out or like shame anybody for questions, but the first hand raised was like, how many rounds do I need to run through this process to make sure that my model is fine tuned? And I was like, it depends. Also, like, what do you define as fine tuning? Like, are you testing your models afterwards? How often do you retrain them? Who is involved in the retraining process?
Those types of questions are reminiscent of marketing teams asking me, what's a good bounce rate? That's really like, that's like totally what it reminds me of, is those kinds of questions. Because they haven't thought about, in many of those cases, they haven't thought about the implication of the answer. So you could tell them any number. You could give them a number like 17. And their immediate response is probably something like, okay, cool. But if you ask them like, okay, so what does it mean? What does this number now mean for you? And they're like, oh, we haven't thought about that. We just wanted the answer. So I think that's this short-sightedness that comes with analysis questions also comes up with now, obviously, AI-driven solutions and tool-based questions, which is a great segue. And I don't often get a chance to do good segues, but I am doing a segue to AI tooling now, because we've talked about a few kind of solutions, but not necessarily something specific, apart from ChatGPT, of course, which everyone has heard about. But when you think about the analyst role, what tools come to mind specifically, and why are they in your brain?
You mean AI-based tools, or tools to develop a support system based on some sort of fancy math?
Let's say anything that augments the analyst. Let's call it augmentation for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's all the rage currently, it's the nice beta of OpenAI's code interpreter. Everybody here, I'm not saying ChatGPT, because that's only the frickin' interface. That's not the frickin' tool and not the frickin' technology. Mr. Smarty Pants here. Kneim is great, just from across me, and I think it's even closer to you, Maddie, than to me, because I have to cross the Lake of Constance, and you just only have to jump down some mountains. From Constance. Time is a great tool in that, and they're doing huge leaps currently. And the fields of, yes, then you've already named it. Yeah. Good GitHub, godsend. And now with the enhancement through Microsoft, even better. Let's be honest. What Microsoft currently will start rolling out in 365, honest point, will be freaking awesome. It'll save a lot of time and it'll save a lot of repetitive tasks. But is there something, honest point, as Megan said, 70% of her day-to-day job, and I think it's all of ours, is translating business issues into where the heck do I get that data? How do I clean it? And then how do I get that into a report that person A, B, or C understands and then uses that to actually do something? And I haven't seen a tool on this side of the planet that actually does that for me.
Maybe Megan has like a super hack.
Do something with my hands and wood. I'd easily install PV on roofs or do something else than crunch data. But it's not there yet.
Because Megan, you talked about translating those, requirements or questions from stakeholders into crunching data, and you already talked about, like, once you have a result, how you, for example, use ChatGPT to help you like arrive at a better formulation for certain stakeholders. But what about the first part? Are there like things that you use to kind of hack the process? I'm going to use the term hack to be modern and hippie.
Yeah, when I was at Narrator, that tool very closely, well, the tool to build the data sets and the reports very closely matched the semantics of regular English. And so the way the data sets were built in Narrator, it's based on an activity model where you're saying, hey, give me all email clicks and all of the purchases that happened in between each email click. And so in that way, Narrator was my hack. It was the way of taking all the building blocks that I needed from the data end and assembling it in a way that my brain immediately understood because it closely matched English. And so, yeah, that was my hack, and I got very good at following that workflow of being like, okay, this data block translates to this activity, and when I was framing it in terms of activities, it was a lot easier to map that one-to-one to what it means in English. So yeah, so that first part of translating business into data, Narrator was my tool to do that. And then translating data back into business language, that was my own brain, but also supplemented by some ChatGPT. And so yeah, it's definitely a twofold process of going from business to data and then data back to business. Yeah.
It sounds like a good process, yeah. Aaron, were you doing analytical work that you had like things for that process, or?
Not so much analytical work. I did work with a lot of other people who were doing it and cleaning the data. So I think providing, again, a lot of it, I was on the data labeling side. So computers can't read text or words or images, or you got to kind of tell the computer what they're doing. So did do some, just from our open source statistics, did some basic analytical work, but probably not to the extent that Megan or Phil are doing. However, again, I'm just going to throw it back. I'm a trusty Python gal. Some good old spreadsheets.
So you're basically saying that the potential for augmentation through tools that use some kind of fancy math is still not as good as you having the knowledge in your brain and knowing, oh, I can use Python to dissect this and use a spreadsheet, for example. Yep. Which is great, because one of the things that's really interested me is the resurgence of the spreadsheet. And I'm bringing this question in, and I didn't prep either of you on this question because it's important to get your raw reactions. there are several companies in the spreadsheet space, which I never thought I would be saying this on a live stream, but there is actually a space called the spreadsheet space that are working against the incumbent solutions of Google Sheets and Excel to establish market presence. We've got Rows, we've got Equals, we've got a couple of other smaller players, and they've raised some significant amount of funding, some of them, right? We know that Excel basically runs the world. Let's be honest. In the back end of most companies, especially like older ones, banks, insurance systems, basically anything that you rely on to live your day-to-day life, there's an Excel spreadsheet somewhere holding all of it together. But the thing is, how realistic is this change to a more modern spreadsheet solution? Don't you think someone would just go, listen, people, if we're going to replace Excel, then we're going to replace it with a database and not Airtable, which is a glorified spreadsheet that has intrinsic APIs or equals or rows or whatever solution you want to say. What's your hot, potentially spicy take on that?
And the question is, why are people using Excel? Or why are people actually using something that's in rows and columns visually for them? It's not, is Excel the best tool on the market? It currently becomes more and more, but there were times when it wasn't, and it was just a huge pain. But it was accessible. Thanks, Microsoft. And now they've understood the power of it. So I think that's got nothing to do underneath with people want to use Excel, but it's the best tool at hand, like a Swiss knife. Should I build my CRM system on it? No, but I can. And if I don't have the cash at hand from my boss to do it, but I need one as a sales rep, then the hell I'll do it, because it gives me the power to do it. Yeah. Should I do my underlying big budget analysis for my huge TV campaign on it with Matthew McConaughey or something? Probably not, but I bet you there are people out there who are running their huge budget spends on it. And yeah, I know. So we use the tools at hand to get the job done. And if it's sometimes a weird AI system that gives hallucinogenic answers to some questions I give it, I'll still use it. And then for now, I'll use this thing up there again, 60% fat, that tells me gut feeling again, yeah, that doesn't really feel that right. It could be wrong. And we all know each and every Excel file out there has got 1 or 2 errors, and some of them just cost us millions, and some just cost us nothing.
And it's funny that you talk about Excel as like a Swiss Army knife. I mean, I have my trusty Swiss Army knife here, and no matter what someone tells me, like I could open boxes with a box cutter. I could open packages with a little plastic cutter, to keep them intact. I open every single thing possible with this blade. I always use this knife for everything, which is why it's so dirty. And I think that there's a point to this, is like it's comfortable. For a lot of people, they grew up with Excel. Excel was available to them. Hence, it's their cozy blankie. It's the thing that it's their oldest, plush toy that they had as a child. And it's very hard to separate yourself from, to go outside your comfort zone. Learning new stuff is friction. That's exactly right, Control. It's friction, and we are essentially monkeys. We don't like to induce friction. So,
and I'd add, I come from the finance world, where these big financial corporations often, they're all Microsoft. And so why would you ever go and use something else when Excel is already there? And so literally every single thing we did was tied together by Excel sheets, that if you broke one cell, it broke everything in the notebook. And we were like, oh, there's nothing else out there that could be easier. Like we didn't even know. So we're like, why would we bother using anything else?
Yeah. Yes, Gulabi is correct. There are indeed spreadsheet championships. And I've said before, if there's esports for spreadsheets, there's going to be esports for data analytics. And I'm going to definitely try and have that be a thing on Twitch, because I would love to see esports for data analytics. Like, not about who can write the fastest SQL, because I will blow anyone out of the dust. That's fine. But the point is, like, who can write SQL to achieve a particular result that people understand within a given time frame. And then if you feed your SQL code to some kind of AI interpreter, does the AI interpreter understand what you wrote? That could be very fun. So maybe I will call some of you on chat, or even some of you today in the panel, to to write some competitive SQL. I think, Aaron, I'd love to hear from you, because I know that you have to drop at the half hour. On sort of the outlook question, 3 to 5 years from now, when we haven't blown ourselves to smithereens yet, and analysts still exist and AI doesn't exist yet in its true generative general intelligence form, where do analysts stand? How do things look for them?
I think, and I think this is kind of goes for my take across like any job that's working with AI or data or anything, is like, it's more important for everyone than ever to understand how these models work and like what is actually happening. Unfortunately, we've kind of seen it where it's just like, I'm just gonna let this model do this thing. And it's like, no, please don't. Like, understand the influence that they have and what they're doing for the long run. But also really, I think more often, context is going to be important. Like, come to the table with data, and if you're not just sharing the data, you're sharing the context behind it. I love what Phil said about what did my email bounce rates? Like, that's so, yes. The example I always give is journalism background. Everybody's like, oh, well, this page got 10,000 views. And it's like, that doesn't pay your bills. But what is a good success metric for journalism, and what is a good success metric for the analytics that you're running? Like, that's the question that we need to be asking.
Yeah. What is your success metric? Chat, what is your success metric? I know someone asked a question in a stream I was in earlier today, and they said, is it worth for me to change from the thing I'm currently doing to go into game development? Is it worth it? And the streamer said something amazing. Alicia, if some of you know her, Alicia said, what does worth it mean to you? How do you measure worth? Because I could tell you, if you want the feeling of working on a game, then that's worth it, because that means you would get that feeling. So I really like this answer, Aaron, because you're talking about defining success before, like defining the criteria for change before making change. And I think that's just such an important factor, really. So yeah, Aaron, if you need to drop, then just drop, and I will.
And I also Jim's posted the best answer ever here. It's like, I'm gonna read it out loud just because that was the best chat answer I've probably ever seen, and I might steal this analogy and let me know I can quote you. But AI is a bit like when humankind learned to make fire. Sometimes it's a lovely stew. Sometimes they burned down the forest. Yes, yes. So if we're not underwater, just learn context, and I think that's going to be more important than ever. The cool thing is that ChatGPT is a great teacher, or Copilot, or whatever you're using. The code, they're great if you're stuck on things, because I've even used it crap, I can't remember something, and you just ask it a quick question on a query or something, and it helps you wonderfully. But I wouldn't rely on it for everything. So.
We did have did have a bit of a troll question earlier, but I would love to know, what is the best SQL join? There's only one answer.
This is all these pressure. I feel like, honestly, anything the best, all of it is just, I'm still obsessed with Megan's sign. I know that's a cop answer, but I'm deferring Megan because
there's no join in that sign, unfortunately.
Oh, there's not, man. I was hoping.
No, it's just select from where.
I know if I made a neon sign, I know what chat would tell me to put on the neon sign, and it would be a right join, because
Oh God.
no
I was
one ever
hoping, Megan. I
uses
was
right
hoping.
join.
But they're in the spec. They're in the spec.
They are in
Yeah,
the
just put
spec.
it in the spec. I want to see that. I like, man, that's like, I just like saw the sign and now I'm like, Megan, you need one. You need another. But
24/7 right joins.
great. Love.
Yeah. Well, Aaron, it's been very lovely having you. Thank you so much for joining.
you.
I will ask the same question to Phil and Megan. We will slowly also wrap up the panel part of the stream. But yeah, if you need to drop, then go ahead and drop. Everyone in chat, please say thank you to Aaron for being here, for taking time to come and chill with us on stream, because, you know, it is a big part of someone's day to take like 2 hours out to entertain all of you. I do that because I have time to burn, obviously, but all of you should be very grateful. But yeah, it's great having a discussion with people from, you know, from different backgrounds. That's really important, I think, to have the diversity. And I tried to pick 3 people today who are from completely different worlds and different backgrounds to have diverse perspectives on our questions. And Chad, if you do have questions other than what is the best SQL join, then we can, of course, bring them up and see what the panelists think. But yeah, the question I asked Aaron about sort of what's the next 3 to 5 years look like for analysts? What are like the big things that are going to change, or what stays the same? What's your take on that, either of you?
Yeah, what Aaron said about just having a general awareness of how these models work. You know, you don't have to know everything, all the bells and whistles that are happening under the hood, but it's like you'd have to be living under a rock to not know that everybody's talking about it. Like almost any tech company is like looking towards those solutions because they want to hop on this train, right? So you will be impacted, even if you don't have to implement it, even if it does not directly impact you. It's all around, and just maybe having an open mind to it, and being a kind of analyst who is very receptive to new technologies. Granted, that is inherent when you work in tech, right? But nowadays, more than ever, staying on top of the trends and just knowing the implications on your future job is like the first step. So just being open to it, besides just upskilling and having the technical skill set.
Mm-hmm. That's a really important point. I guess you're feeling that a little bit. Also, I guess in your personal situation now with, you know, with your career change or change of role, at least, now you're probably also thinking about, you know, what kind of role are you going to take on that, you know, allows you to like be the best version of whatever it is that you want to be, whether it's more like analytically focused, whether it's more enablement. Like there's different types of roles in the data space, obviously.
Yeah.
Phil, what's it look like for you? Because I mean, your role is a little bit different from a traditional analyst, right? How do you think your role might change within the next 3 to 5 years, or it's already changing, right?
Yeah. Initially, I've got more support for hands-on or technical stuff. I'm writing code since I'm roughly 6. So in that sense, I'd had the luxury to always being brain-wise allowed to, that's someone coming naturally to me. And now I can just take that time out and think about functional marketing strategies and how can we leverage AI in that. But I think the underlying question here is actually, we're looking at this discussion from a perspective of the Industrial Revolution. That meant introduction of steam engines, introduction of those nice little waving machines, etc. So British, yeah, got all yelled up because they're taking away our jobs and yada yada. I think the aspect here is that that's a completely wrong direction because, hell, I don't even know what technical advancements we'll have a year from now. So I can't tell you what 3 to 5 years will happen. No one of us said Apple will bring out that neat and fancy VR headset, or rather AR headset. And let's now be honest, that thing isn't selling. But hey, yeah, they tried. So I think we'll be different. We'll have a lot of smaller, independent, or maybe it's some sort of linked support systems. Some will be good in writing SQL. Some will be good in documenting, writing meta descriptions of data. We'll have something that maybe even enables us to link that. Maybe we'll have even something like an orchestrator that says you should use that and that. So the honest point is, what I know what will come is because we're human beings and we love to preserve energy, we'll invest a lot of energy into writing support systems. And we as data nerds, and coders, we love to invest hours or days into automating something that when we do it by hand, it'll only take us 10 minutes, but we'll invest 4 days to then automate that away. And we only repeat that task once per month, which now we'll have to invest the last amount of the universe to actually get that time back. But hey, we've written something, yeah? We're at that point, we're not only monkeys, we love problem solving. So, and I think that'll still be something that drives us, and that's why we do innovation. So that'll be something that stays, yeah? Seeping data. And I think that's something that AI won't do that fast.
Yeah.
We're still there to ask the questions. We're still there to combine and think about different lines of contextual knowledge of what do our competitors do? How did the market change? Why did these costs increase or something else?
Yeah.
We'll have systems like we currently do. All of us have got, sorry for the wording, underlings sometimes that do that harsh, unnice work of data cleansing or of just doing that Excel report manually.
Absolutely.
Because we don't have the data sources automatic.
Absolutely.
And that'll now be support systems. If they're AI or something else, I don't know.
So that's a great way of looking at it, Phil, is like all of these systems are so going to support the fundamental work that we're doing today. Also, John Tech Y, thank you very much for the follow. We're going to take a 3 to 4 minute break for ads, and then we're going to wrap up with Megan and Phil. So in the meantime, watch some clips and enjoy yourselves. There will also be a bunny cam. And take a break as well, get some water, snacks, whatever. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see each other in a few minutes. Working on my website a little bit. If you want these glasses, Tim, you can actually make them yourself. Order some clear round frames from Amazon, and then you can make them yourself. Oh, we just got time warped, didn't we? Oh boy, that is, wow. Okay, that is, that's quite a time warp there. Thank you very much, whoever that was. I heard the sound. I think if I can even look while I'm half enhanced, you can link it in chat if you like. Oh no, what's happening? What's happening, chat? What's going on? Oh my gosh. Twitter AFP. Yeah, but Twitch hasn't said anything yet, right? Thank you very much, Steve. I appreciate it. So we have thank you, Steve, for gifting a sub to Right Join is the Best Join. I hope you're happy. Was, is? How should I refer to this now? I don't know. Yeah, okay. Just in numbers was going to be, oh no. I hear it, but I can't see it. No? What? Did it go by already? 9,263 degrees. Who can work that out? Who can even know what direction that is? Thank you for taking. We now have more unit measurements. 2 large ones and 2 small ones. We have a Rona, which is 27 zeros after the first digit, and a Quetta, which is 30 zeros at the top of the measurement range. What's ironic is that Quetta is still not enough zeros to describe how much your mom weighs. I'm sorry, I just had to. It was too good, chat. I'm very sorry. So like I said last time, if it is annoying for me moving around and doing stuff while maintaining eye contact with you, chat, then please let me know if it's very weird for you, and I will stop. Okay? No problem. I can stop anytime I want. I don't even need to look at chat to know that all of you are very uncomfortable right now. Anyway, I'll stop now. Oh my god. Oh my god! Oh, did you just DDoS my memes? What the heck? I don't technically need the outline. Did you enhance again? Well, chat, we are back. I hope you all took a break, or took the chance to at least drink something. Your body does need water, by the way, chat. It's not a joke. Like all the hydration alerts on Twitch that people have, it's really actually quite important that you drink water. So I refilled my water bottle. I know that Megan, I think you got yourself some snacks as well. But we're going to be wrapping up the panel portion of the stream today very soon. We're going to have Phil and Megan. I would love for you to sort of give your, not necessarily an outlook, but like what you think like the greatest takeaways are if you want to like try and answer the question of the stream, which is essentially, you know, how big is the impact of AI on analysts? Is it like hot air, or is it, you know, deep impact crater type thing with all the references to the movie that you could possibly imagine? Yeah, whoever likes to start, feel free.
I am a boomer at heart. It took me so long to get onto Twitch, onto TikTok. You know, following trends is not necessarily my strong suit. And so for me, my outlook is I don't want to give any kind of prescriptive diagnosis of where this industry is headed until, you know, we're a couple of cycles into this. Definitely have to keep in mind like hype cycles and everything. So I definitely think that there are impacts, but you know, whether we will still be talking about AI in every other post this time next year, I don't know. So my answer is a very like non-answer. It's I don't know. Maybe come back to me in a year.
So you're saying is that we have to do another stream in a year to see if we were correct or not. Okay. I'm
Yes.
noting this down. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Very well. That's fair to not want to also make a judgment call based on like the short period of observation. That's also a very data scientist answer, data analyst answer to give. Is like, someone asking you, I went food shopping with someone and we were in the store for 2 minutes. They said, what do you want for dinner? I said, I haven't had a chance to experience all the different food items yet in the store. So why are you asking me? It's such a short period of observation. But anyway, I digress. Phil, what would be like your, what would you like chat to hear about from you? Like, what's your sort of outlook or whatever? Open to you.
What's my outlook? My honest reply would be, the fuck, I don't know. Oops.
Have to bleep that one out in the bloopers.
Again. But there is just released a few days ago an article in the German philosophy magazine, and it uses and I can't translate that thing, so sorry for everybody not speaking German, but it uses the Organprojektionstherapie, which von Ernst Kapp, which at core says we're currently thinking about AI either as this personified thing, aka it'll turn into a person, or we're seeing it as a tool. Both of those perspectives are in itself wrong, because it won't be either or. As always, it'll be, as we already oftentimes said today, it depends. It depends not only how you utilize it, but also what allowance you give that thing to appear, and how we as a society actually allow something like this to appear. So my take from today at the question of will AI impact us? Yes. When? I don't know. How? I know one thing. Time from now on, in a year, we'll all work differently.
It's a very sage estimate. You can't be wrong.
No, the honest point is, will we write less SQL? Yes. Will we write less Python? Yes. Will we write less R? Yes. How much less? I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, if we're looking just into the field of, sorry for extending this, huge discussion all around is data literacy in organizations. And we're working with data not just in the last, let's say, 15, 20 years. Businesses have started working with data in the Netherlands in the 1600s. They checked how were our shipments, what money did we do on that, everything that we today say about what's our margins, they already did those freaking calculations.
You're saying 500 years isn't enough to become data literate?
So what will AI do? Hopefully kick our butts and make us a bit more data literate.
Yeah. That's a very succinct point, is that data literacy is
Tulips. Yes,
data literacy is the path to success, right? Because there's only so much you can enable as a person external to the actual decision making. I'm actually going to be running a live cohort training in October on decision making, and so it's going to be 2 or 3 weeks, and it's going to be actually, not just like presenting an analysis, but then actually going further and saying, how does this influence a decision? And, talking to stakeholders and deciding on how to take a decision, and then following up on that decision by saying, what are the success criteria for that decision, etc. And one of the feedbacks I got on the landing page was, analysts don't take decisions. I said, that's exactly the problem. That's exactly the problem. It's so easy to sit on the sidelines and say, oh, I think you should do this, and then just sit back and have zero participation in whether that thing actually gets done or not. So I want us all to take decisions together. I don't want it to be a business versus data thing where data makes a recommendation and then business goes off and does whatever. Because part of the problem is that you need to track decisions, right? For them to be impactful, for you to actually know whether the decision was a good one or not. It needs to be an experiment in some way, right? So we all know that, but business stakeholders don't. So I think that's kind of the gist of that. If I were to give my like personal take on the sort of impact of AI thing, I definitely borrow a lot of themes from what you both have said, what Aaron said. I think the key thing for me personally is that AI will not and cannot become more than it is today, because it is technically limited to the point of it can become the best thing ever at making guesses, and it will be very good at making guesses. It will make better guesses than any human can, but it can't learn. It can't develop things on its own. It can't be creative in the true sense of that we think of creativity. It can't show human emotions, etc. What for me is the next frontier is something I've started exploring called organoid intelligence, which is fascinating because it's basically taking synthetic brain structures and enabling them technologically, which I will be very honest with all of you in chat and the two of you as well. I don't understand this technology, but it has the potential to be, from research point of view anyway, is to simulate thinking. And there we are starting to get closer to something that we are replicating this 60% fat, 40% protein. So I'm very, very excited about that, but we're talking probably 20 years off, I think. I don't think that's something. The reality of the situation today is we will have tools at our disposal, much like you said, Phil, to be underlings for us. And I think that's great because it will enable people who are today stuck as reporting monkeys to exit from that and have a lot of automation and not do those things anymore and be better and do cooler things. It will enable humans to do much more fun stuff ultimately. Because none of us really want to write 700 lines of SQL. Like, it is cool to code, but at some point there's like a limitation, right? So I really like that aspect. But on the flip side, the human element as ever is the most important. Liaising with the stakeholders, really understanding what's going on, really breaking down questions into research for what data can help answer those questions. I think there's going to be very few tools to really automate that process. Assistive, yes, I agree. There will be more and more tools to be assistive for us. And with that, I think, that's more or less a wrap up for the panel portion of the stream. Both Phil and Megan have given a lot of their time today. Hi, Ginny, by the way. Good to see you again. It's always business versus data. At some point, it's always about how much does it cost to implement this change? How much will it save, if anything? And if it's not zero, then why bother? Absolutely. The debates are endless. Showing return on investment for data projects is immensely difficult. But that's the direction we're heading, right? Auxiliary functions to the business, like HR or finance, will also need to show this sooner or later. They will also need to show that they're not just a cost center. But data is feeling the crunch at the moment, unfortunately, like many other industries and jobs. So if anyone has any last questions for any of us, then rip into chat with your question. Otherwise, Phil, Megan, if you want to say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for both of you coming on. I appreciate it very much. It actually didn't take too much convincing for them, which is great. Shows their openness to trying new things. And I'm sure well, if you want to hang out in chat, of course, you're more than welcome to. And otherwise, we will say adieu to both of you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
We will go on a short break just so I can say goodbye, chat. It's early. I think we're doing it, aren't we? Okay. We'll watch it. I did not want to do it before stream. This is 5. No. This is 4? No, it's 5 now. This is 4 now. Not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah. I'm impressed. It's a good clip. It really is. This is a very good series of clips, actually. Great. Mm-hmm. I know what happened.
What is this? It's Microsoft Excel.
Another powerful reason for insisting on. Intel Inside.
What is this? It's Microsoft Excel.
Powerful reason for insisting on. Intel Inside.
Oh, did you just DDoS my memes? I was muted again.
What is this? It's Microsoft Excel.
Oh, streaming while muted is just horrible. I am back. Thank you, Admiral Entropy and Scottish and Ginny and Garrison and Control and Jens and Faffin and everybody else who is in chat. Thank you so much for being here. I would love to hear from all of you how you felt the panel was. I have a personal opinion of the panel, of course. But I would love to hear from all of you if you enjoyed that. It's a format that I tried now for the first time. As you know, I've had guests occasionally, one or two guests on stream. But having 3 guests at once is certainly a bit more of a challenge. Let's put it that way. So that's that's something to consider. This whole audio thing is voodoo, but at least you're cute. Thank you, Faffin. Yeah, normalizing audio levels with 3 guests is a challenge, and I think what I learned there is that having all 3 guests in the same source in OBS is probably not the way to go. Even though Twitch gives you like little sliders for each person, I think it's probably better to have an individual source for each person, even though that's a bit more effort to set up. But I think it's makes more sense. I think it makes more sense. There's one thing that we forgot to do at the beginning of stream chat, and I'm so sorry. I hope it was understandable. I hope the audio quality was okay. I was monitoring things. I was adjusting it a little bit as the stream went on to try and equalize them a little bit. But chat, there's something we forgot to do at the beginning of stream. I don't know if any of you noticed, but we forgot something, and I'm a bit upset because I spent some time before stream setting it up, so it's a bit of a shame, but I figured we can do it now. There's nothing stopping us from doing it now. I just wanted to see in chat if I missed any messages. There's this gang of nerds on YouTube currently in the midst of a series on training actual brain cells to play Doom. Oh my gosh, Control, that's fantastic. Hello, Cypher, and thank you for turning my lights off. As usual, I did turn on the effects again, chat, of course. During the discussion, I turned them off, but now they are all re-enabled for your enjoyment. Invite them back on! No, it's fine. if you used one Discord channel, you could probably manage that better from there. Individual volume control plus control of the whole source audio. Yeah, so Fafin, I actually had that. So each individual person in Guest Star has a volume slider, and then the browser source itself in Twitch, in OBS, has a volume control on it. But as you know, like, it's very challenging because I'm listening to them not through the streaming output, but I'm listening to them through the browser, which means I can't share my desktop audio with you. And yeah, there's all these kind of intricacies about it. But anyway,
Garbage.
Thank you, Jens. We forgot the meme of the day. We forgot the meme of the day, chat. So I'm very sorry about that. But we have one. We have one. So I am more than happy to share with you, chat, the meme of the day that I prepared especially for this occasion. So without further ado, here is the meme of the day. Gru's master plan. Develop a powerful AI. Step 1. I should move this over actually. Then we can get it in the vertical clip. Gru's masterful plan. So Gru's plan consists of 4 steps. Develop a powerful AI. Teach it to understand data. Have the AI replace you as an analyst. But then the AI replaces you as an analyst, so you don't have a job anymore. That's maybe not the best plan, Gru. Do we have a Minions background? Oh, a Minions tattoo? Am I the sucker? JD Does Dev, thank you very much for the subscription. 3 months. Capitalism in action. Live capitalism here on Twitch. Lovely, chat. Thank you so much for the support. Again, Finite and Ship, thank you so much for your raids. And Finite, thank you for resubscribing as well. There was so much going on at the beginning of stream. It was absolutely incredible. I couldn't believe how much was happening at once. It was absurd. I had even turned off alerts and there was still so much happening. And I see what you're doing with the clowns, JD. I will not see your background. Step 4 should be become a cloud sales executive. No, you have to sell APIs. You have to sell APIs, Jens. That's the new thing now is selling API access to AI tools. That's how you make all of your money today. Become a clown sales executive. Nobody's buying clowns. Nobody's buying clowns, JD. So chat, I hope the panel discussion was fruitful for you. My feeling, chat, is that you liked it. My feeling says that you liked it, which is great, because I enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good discussion. I thought we had very diverse points of view with people from different backgrounds. I hope the questions were good. I tried to sort of come up with questions that aren't just, oh, do you believe in AI or something like that. Admiral Entropy, I'm so happy that you liked the panel. I saw that a couple other people in chat also wrote that they really liked the panel. So I did mention that this was the 3rd stream, courtesy of the Operational Analytics Club. And honestly, like, there will be 3 more. There will be more streams. Oh wow, look at the money going into the pool. That's amazing. I've never seen that before. There will be more streams that are supported by the Operational Analytics Club. It enables me to do things due to their contribution, right? It's a little bit easier for me to organize some things than others. And so that's really cool. And so I'm always thinking of ideas of things we can do on stream. And if you would like to suggest something that we do on stream, then do not hesitate to send it over to me. You know, send me over a suggestion in Discord. Tell me, you know, message me on LinkedIn, whatever. Like, whatever it is, if you have a cool idea, if you have something, it's like, oh, I'd really love for you to talk about this or whatever. Where is... Hold on a second. Is the music double, chat? I feel like the music is doubled, but I don't know why that is. It's a bit strange. Did this change like output devices? That's strange. External headphones built in.
Garbage.
Well, that's fun. Mac has decided to do some interesting stuff today. I will sort that out later.
What is this? It's Microsoft Excel.
I suggest we do a text-to-speech bits ad campaign across Twitch. That would be very interesting. They don't need the AI analyst to be as good as the meat analyst, just good enough to fool your manager. Or just not be shitty enough to cost more money than it saves. That's a good point, Fafin. One of the best streams in a long time, maybe topped by the one where we did the Right Join is the Best Join song reveal. Oh my gosh, I do remember that. I remember that. That was... Yeah. That was something else, chat. I'm very confused as to why the music is coming through twice. Makes no sense. We were doing it to Alicia earlier and it was fun. Yeah, I did contribute there a little bit. To be honest with you, I did some self-promo via bits, which I thought was pretty hilarious. But yeah, I think we are going to probably wrap up for today. If you don't have any like other questions, chat, then sponsored content. Yeah, it is indeed sponsored content today. But if you don't have any questions or anything you want to talk about today, I sort of gave my opinion on what I think is going to happen. We should do the Salmo. Yes, that's true, Fafin. It's actually that's a good one. I think we're gonna go raid someone. Does anyone have a raid suggestion? I'm open to suggestions. Let's see if we can switch to our ending scene. So thank you, as always, chat. Thank you so much. Why do we have music with words in it? BBB is on? Yes.
Please remember that it's pronounced squeal and not sequel.
Yeah, sure, Karen. I don't think I will be calling it squeal anytime soon. But you do you, Karen. It's totally your thing. Bahamut Gaming. Okay, BBB is on. Oh, wait. Somebody is on. Nope, they're gone. I see... Ah, I see someone has just gone live. Bahamut Gaming. Who is that? Thank you, Jens. Stick around for the raid. Live EU Raven Court in-houses Heroes of the Storm. You know what? I am totally up for that, Fafin. I trust you. I trust you. Mr. I'm stuck. No! Interesting. Thanks for the stream. Thank you for joining today, everyone. Heroes of the Storm, yes. I think we could raid a gaming streamer. Why not? Why not? Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I think it was a great stream. I had a lot of fun. I thought the discussion was good. And yeah, I like having guests Although it's super nerve-wracking and really difficult to coordinate and a lot of work. And we had a landing page that was, you know, the whole thing was meant to be like 3 hours, and we had technical issues in the beginning, and I had to restart stream, and all that stuff doesn't matter because we had a great discussion, and that's what counts. That's what counts. So yeah, we're gonna raid Bahamut Gaming, Baha, and I hope to see all of you on Monday when we are doing some cool stuff. I can't tell you too much about it, but it's cool. Let's just say if you watch the stream on Monday, last Monday, you'll probably know what's coming. So, see you all hopefully on Monday, and have a great weekend. Thank you all for joining. I love you all. Thank you so much. And take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.